Hey, what's going on? Jimmy here in Chicago. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to try to go live tonight. I got a special guest. You guys are going to love it. I had some technical difficulty earlier. But before we get into it, I want to give a special shout out um, to some of the fellas in the Taylor Street neighborhood. Every time I go out, these guys always pick up the tab. So I want to say thanks again. And their stories are legendary. These guys have some of the best stories for my ears only, though. Now, another book I'm reading right now, Money for Nothing, written by Aaron Palmer. I just started reading the book, and it's stories about some of the Taylor Street guys, but they use different names, different nicknames. And I already reached out to Aaron Palmer, and him and I are going to work together on some Taylor Street stories. We're going to talk about some of the Wild Bunch guys. So stay tuned for that. I invited my guest. Today's guest, we're going to talk about this woman here, Mary Frangello. Mary Frangello, born and raised right there in the Grand Avenue patch. She's got some very funny stories of what it was like spending time with Joe Lombardo, Frankie Collada, some of the other outfit guys. Some of the guys we can't really talk about. We're also going to talk about her book. She's got a book out, Lovers, Liars, and Clowns, Tales from the Patch. A couple things that Mary and I have in common is number one, she grew up in the same neighborhood where I live now. Years ago, it was mostly an Italian neighborhood. People came from Bari, Italy. Now I think they call it Ukrainian Village. Excuse me. So her and I, from the same neighborhood, she has an interest in Chicago outfit. I have an interest. My interest started years ago when my father told me that he was in the Marine Corps with James Turk Torillo. And my dad had no idea that at the time he was an upcoming Chicago outfit boss. So once my dad shared that story with me, I got hooked. I started reading all the books. And then I went to my very first trial in 1992. It was Gus Alex. And I was hooked. Following that up, I went to the Sam Carlisi trial. Sam Carlisi and his entire crew. So that's my interest in Chicago outfit. Mary's interest is a little bit different because she actually grew up with some of these wise guys. And I've got her here. I see her right here. Mary, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jimmy.
It worked.
What do you know? So,
Good to
how
see
you
you.
doing?
Well, Mary, I was telling the viewers that you and I have some similar interests, right? You
Oh
used
yeah.
used to live in the neighborhood that I live in, and you grew up with a lot of the old wise guys. And I started getting interested. My father was in the Marine Corps with Turk Torello. After that, I started reading the books, and then I started going to the trials. So Mary has been a supporter of my channel for quite some time. I wanted to bring you on, Mary. Introduce yourself. You know, tell us tell the viewers where you grew up and what it was like growing up in the old Grand Avenue neighborhood.
Well, I grew up in the patch. I grew up across from the Mitchell Playground, across from Joe Lombardo's house. I kind of like fell into it, and in in that neighborhood, you got to learn how to survive. It's the first thing you got to do. Either you're going to be really, really good and have some connections, or you just have to learn how to survive. Fortunately, after my father passed away, Joe like slipped right in. It was, I can't say anything bad about him because I have nothing bad to say about him. I know there's some people that feel differently, and let's just say it's okay to be different.
You're referring to Joe Lombardo?
Oh, yeah.
Now, did he go to the same school as you?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what grammar school he went to. I know he went to Wells High School because that's when he started the floating crap games.
What was he like? I mean, everyone, all the people that don't really know him, everybody hears stories that he was a boss of the Grand Avenue crew and this big mob guy. But what was he really like? What did you think of him?
Hey, I thought the world of him. I really did. He taught me a lot. He helped me survive. He let me get away with things that nobody else really was able to get away with. Well, I'm sure there were other people and other things, but between me and Joe, it was different. I mean, we used to meet at Holy Rosary Church up on the second floor where the organ was. That's where we would exchange information.
Yeah.
Who's going to bug it?
Now, we haven't gotten to your book yet, but in your book, you mentioned that you were kind of like his little spy in the neighborhood. You would give him gossip and tea on some of the guys.
Well, yeah, he always wanted to know what was going on in the neighborhood, and I was there to fill him in.
Yeah, without really ratting on anybody.
Oh no, it wasn't to rat on anybody. See, sometimes what they were doing was no big deal. Other times it would bring too much heat into the neighborhood. And if it was going to bring too much heat into the neighborhood, Joe needed to know about it so he could stop it before it started.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, what were the coppers like back in the 70s and early 80s? What were the coppers like in that neighborhood?
Funny you ask. I only had 2 or 3 encounters, and the funny part about it is that I was out after curfew. Curfew was about 10:30, and I was out after curfew. And they'd stop and they'd say, "Where do you live?" And I'd say, 1234 Race Street. And they'd go, "Oh." They go, "What's your name?" I go, "Mary Frangello." They go, "Oh, okay. Be careful." And they just go. I'm telling you, Joe had connections at the 13th District.
Now, where's that on
It
Wood?
it doesn't matter I say that now because the cops that he had connections with are no longer there.
Is that the police station on Wood?
Augusta and Wood. Yep.
It's funny, not to interrupt, but that was his alibi during the Danny Seifert hit. Joey said that he was at that police station making out a police report.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mary, where were you the day that he went on the lam, that he lammed it? Were you around?
As a matter of fact, at the time I was living in Clarendon Hills near Oak Park. Okay. No, not Oak Park, Oak Brook. Oak Brook. I was up near I lived in Clarendon Hills, right next to Oak Brook.
Yeah, nice area.
I see it on the news.
Yeah, they had no idea where he was at.
No, that was a terrible day.
I got on a brighter note. I don't want to reveal too much. We haven't started talking about your book yet, but tell the viewers about this pair of dice that you have.
Oh, yeah. See, here, I'll show you. I got them right here in my pocket. These dice.
And you carry those for good luck, right?
Yeah, it's I consider it a talisman. You know what a talisman is? It's a good luck charm.
Yeah, nice.
Joe gave those to me before he went to jail the first time. Around 82, I think it was. I think he got convicted in 82. And
Yeah,
they
that's
gave
all
him,
right.
they gave him 10 years. And then in 86, he got convicted for another 15. But they let him out in 92. And then, Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz, dropped the house on the Chicago outfit. That Frankie Calabrese guy.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to those guys. Now, let me back up a little bit. I want to couple things really quick. Now, this is the neighborhood that I live in. This is the neighborhood you grew up in, right? Smith Park.
Oh, yeah, Smith
Tell us
Park.
about Smith Park growing up. What it was like growing up right here in Grandin Western. I think she froze. What was this like, Mary? Smith Park.
Uh, um, it's like I don't know how to describe the feeling from being a kid. Smith Park. It was you go there for baseball games because a lot of little league teams were there. The older guys played there. There was basketball courts over on the Campbell Street side, where you're on in Campbell on the corner, where the social club was.
Yep. I was going to
Because
ask
sometimes the old timers would come out and they'd watch a couple of the baseball games. Kid you not.
you. Do you remember some of the old clubs?
When I was growing up, there was one on Erie and Levitt. Like around the corner from Joe's house. And then for some reason it closed down. Something happened.
How about this place here, Mary?
No, I don't know that one.
Fiore's, the little Italian store on the corner. We talked about this.
Oh, Fury. Oh, that's Erie and Oakley.
Yeah, were these your friends?
I knew Mike Fiore and his wife because my brother Gary lived across the street.
Okay. And this is right down the street from Joe's house, right?
Yeah, Joe's on Ohio Street, 2210 Ohio, between Levitt and Oakley.
Yeah.
He's more towards the Levitt side.
Mary, how about this? How about this place here? One of my favorites.
Oh, is that the Como Inn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every year for my birthday, I go there. Great food, man.
Don't you have a recipe?
Oh, yeah, the sous chef, Vito, gave me the fettuccine Alfredo recipe.
A lot of the wise guys used to hang out here, right? Back in the day.
Oh, yeah, a lot of wise guys. But, I dealt with a lot of the people in the back of the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The cooks, the servers,
Yeah, sure.
the people who bought pot.
Hey, Mary, I got to ask you a question, and this is a little tell-all in your book, but I pulled this up for you. I think this is what was your favorite concert ever?
Oh,
I'll give you
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd at
Pink
Soldier
Floyd on your stars at Soldier Field.
1977, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I want to say June 19th. All I know is there was 88,000 people there. It made the paper the next day because they couldn't believe that many people were in Soldiers Field. There was no room.
How much was the ticket? $10?
$7.50, I think.
All right, now I want to share this with you. Mary, aside from an author, Mary is an artist.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Here's one. This is probably, I'm thinking about maybe doing this in one of my little offices here.
Yeah, actually, that's a flat wall, though it doesn't look flat.
Wow. Obviously, if you guys want to reach out to Mary or myself, if you're interested in any of these paintings. And then here's the book, right? Mary, tell us about your book. I think this is your very first novel, isn't it?
Yes, it's my memoir, and he asked me about growing up in the patch. It was so much fun. I had to write a book about it.
Was it safe? Safe neighborhood, or was it dangerous?
Every neighborhood's dangerous, Jimmy. You know, it's the illusion when you're a kid that things are safer because you're really not aware of what's going on. But, you know, it's like I've talked to people all over. I've lived all over where people said, oh, it's real safe here. No, no, it's not. You know, you still got the weirdos no matter where you move. I lived in Florida, you know, Sanibel Island. You actually have to pay to get onto the island.
Really?
And it's not even safe there. So, you know.
How about this? In your book, you tell a funny story about this guy here. Tell us that story. One of my favorites.
Okay. um, the reason I know Bozo is because of Dennis Farina.
Dennis Farina, the actor. Okay.
Dennis Farina was a cop at the time. I think he was at the 18th district. He was with Shakespeare. Shakespeare, I think, is the 18th district.
Yeah,
Anyway, long story short, he tells me he wants to know if I know where to get some really good stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, because he's a cop, right? And he goes, no, no. He goes, listen. He says, I got a friend. He says, who really can use it because his doctor said he might get sick from the chemo treatments because he had cancer. So, you know, if you can get a hold of it, not that the doctor was recommending it, because remember, this is back in the 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Pot was not legal, not like it is now medically. You know, I'm glad they caught up to everything. But anyway, he takes me over to, you know where the Busy Bee restaurant is?
Yep.
Where the Busy Bee was, it was a Polish restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay. He takes me there to meet his friend Bob. Drops me off. Says, you're going to have lunch with Bob and talk to Bob. I got to get out of here. So Dennis Farina leaves. He leaves me with this guy, and I'm talking to this guy. And I'm thinking, gee, he looks so familiar. He sounds so familiar. You know, I couldn't shake the feeling. Until after later on when we made the trade. And he went to go smoke some of it. And he only smoked a little of it. Because he was like, you know, I don't smoke anymore. Is that? But after we told each other some jokes, he started laughing, and I knew immediately it was Bozo.
By a smile. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I go, you're Bozo. I go, because he said something like, I said, Bob. I said, is your last name Bell? And he goes, yes, Mary. Yes, it is. I was like, oh, shit. I go, I'm smoking a joint with Bozo, and I can't tell anybody? And he was like, no. He goes, you can't. He goes, I got a reputation, you know, I'm Bozo.
I love it. So, Mary, you know, I wanted to share this with you. Excuse me. After the original Bozo, your friend, after he passed away, there was a second Bozo, okay? Now get this. This guy used to hang out by Joe and Mikey Switek at the hardware store. Right next door is Vinny Subs. They're still there today, right on Grand and Racine. So
it was Joey DeAurora.
You know the man?
It was Joey DeAurora, wasn't it?
Yes. So
yeah.
when I found out, okay, he would deliver for Darlene and run favors for Joe and Mike, and he was like hanging
Yeah.
out every day. And you could tell by his smile, he looked like a freaking clown, right? And when
Yeah.
he told me that he was Bozo, I'm like, well, there's no way you could be the original Bozo. But I believe it's the guy you're talking about. And it's it's just funny. They also told me that Evil Knievel used to love to hang around with the Grand Avenue guys. You remember Evil Knievel?
Yeah, I remember Evil Knievel, but I had no idea.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Mary. How about, what do you know about this man here, this handsome devil?
Harry Alleman. He's actually he's the Fonz of gangsters, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
The man exudes coolness. I met him one day in a bakery. You could see he wanted to talk to the guy behind the counter. And it was me and I think two other older women in there. And he goes, "What do you guys want? Come on, come on, I'll buy it for you." And he bought us all baked goods to get us the hell out of there because he wanted to talk to the guy behind the counter.
Well, you know, he's a legend in the Taylor Street neighborhood and Chicago.
As far as I know, I got nothing bad to say about Harry. Everybody loved Harry. Everybody loved Harry.
Didn't you tell me he was real handsome, like real good looking?
Really good looking. Really good looking guy. And he had a nephew that I used to hang around. His nephew was Shy West. He was on the opposite side of Chicago Avenue with a different gang. And his name was Joseph Alleman, but he called himself Brad. I couldn't believe, it's like I was hanging with this guy the whole time, and I'm thinking, this guy Brad is really good looking. There's something about his jawline,
Yeah, yeah.
And then I find out later that it's Harry's nephew.
I think he was half Mexican, wasn't he?
Yeah, half Mexican, half Italian.
Yeah. Now, Mary, how about tell me about this chain here. What does this chain mean to you? Somebody gave that to you. I'll give you a hint.
Yeah. No, not them two. It was Frank.
Oh, Frank
gave me the chain, but the chain actually came from the gold rush in Las Vegas.
Okay. Now, tell me about this. First of all, did you know the Splatro family? And secondly,
No.
what did you feel when they went missing? In 1986. What was your reaction?
My first reaction was, honestly, they finally got him. That's all I can think of. I'm sorry, it's true. Yeah, they finally got him. What I feel bad about is Michael. Michael didn't deserve that.
Why do you think they killed Michael? Why do you think they killed Michael? Setup? Part of the setup?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know if they wanted. I don't know. I think it was unnecessary.
Now, Mary, in your book, you talk about this guy here, Chicago outfit burglar, Frankie Collada. What was the real Frank Collada like? I mean, we got a little taste of him with all the YouTube videos he did, but what was he really like? And by the way, I want to apologize for saying you had a love affair with Frank Collada. I totally messed that up. So
yeah. It was
set the record straight.
It was just one of those. Hey, like Sinatra was just one of those things. It didn't go any farther. There was never any. What was Frank Collada like? The Frank that I knew had a short fuse. The littlest things could just set him off.
Temperament.
So and I would attribute that to
when they're drinking.
No. He was I think he had difficulty understanding some things.
Yeah, that's fair to
And
say.
so when something would come up, maybe it upset him a little.
Um, Now, what we're going to do
But
this?
I would laugh. I'd laugh when he'd get upset, and he'd be mad that I'd laughed, because I wasn't supposed to laugh. I guess I was supposed to be afraid or something. I don't know.
I refresh my memory. Where did you meet Frankie Collada? Where did you guys meet?
On Grand Ogden at La Rocks. Remember the old La Rocks there?
Tell us about La Rocks.
Well, I had a friend that worked there, and I was going to pick him up, and that was the night that I ran into Frankie. I don't want to get too much into that story, because if I talk too much about the book, who wants to buy it, right?
Yeah. I get it. Now, what do you feel about some of these government informants, like this guy, Lenny Patrick, right? Old Jewish gangster. He testified. He was 78 years old. He testified against Gus Alex, Mario Renault, Nick Gio. And then he was such a good witness, they used him again to put away the Sam Carlisi crew. What are your thoughts about a guy like this? A guy that the government cuts a deal
I'll tell you exactly what my thoughts are on guys like that. Okay, because I have a very strong opinion about it. Something happened to our world. Everything is now soft language. You know what soft language is?
What do you mean?
I give you an example of soft language. Back in the 40s, when our guys would come home from war, we would say they were shell shocked. Shell shocked. See, it has gravitas. Now they have PTSD. You see how that's soft language? Well, these guys like Lenny Patrick, like, Pinky, people like that, well,
Pinky,
they say,
wait a minute. Pinky, you
they
mean
say,
this guy?
yeah. He says
Call him
government,
Pinky.
well, no, they're not Pinky. You know who Pinky is.
This guy?
I'm not going to say. Okay?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Because he just lacks character. So I'm not going to talk about that. But people like that, they call themselves government informants. It's a rat. First and foremost, they're rats. Okay? No getting around it. I hate that all this stuff that goes on with all this soft language. Oh no, you can't say that. Yes, I can. You're a rat. You're a stool pigeon. See how easy that was?
Love it.
I don't care why you did it. Okay? You know what it is, Jimmy? You know what really pisses me off? They all knew what they were getting into when they were getting into it.
100%.
Okay? If you didn't want no part of it, you should have never went.
Absolutely.
So don't like rats.
Back to how about a guy you don't really hear too much about? What was Jack Cerrone like?
Uncle Jack. One of the guys that I hung around with, that I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah, you don't have to.
But he was Jack's nephew. So, Jack owned a lot of property in the neighborhood.
100%.
Okay? The only problem is Jack didn't represent the property. He had somebody else pretend to be the landlord. I won't tell you his first name, but I'll tell you the last name was Padula. And Padula was the landlord of the neighborhood. And, but every now and then Jack would come around. When Uncle Jack would come around, Uncle Jack always had a joke. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you an Uncle Jack joke right now. For those of you who get offended by jokes, I'm going to tell you I'm sorry ahead of time, okay? Jimmy, what do you call a dog with no legs?
A dog with no legs?
What do you call a dog with no legs?
I don't know.
Call it anything you want, it ain't coming.
Yeah.
That's an Uncle Jack joke.
So, guys,
So
if you
he was fun. Jack Ciron was fun. As a matter of fact, everybody called Joe a clown, but I remember him playing serious. Joe would play the straight man a lot, especially when it came to me. I'll tell you a cute little story. One night I'm hanging out in the playground on the Ohio Street side. I'm sitting on a swing. I'm just finished smoking a joint. It's got to be about 1 o'clock in the morning. Joe's just coming home. He comes home, he parks, he looks, he walks over across the street, he goes, "Hey kid," he goes, "I thought that was you." He goes, "What are you doing out here so late? You waiting for Frank?" And I went, "No, I'm not waiting for Frank." I go, "I'm just sitting here thinking." He goes, "Thinking about Frank?" See, Joe wouldn't let it go. He had to bust my chops about Frank a lot all the time because he was like, "You can't stay with him. You'll wind up being a prison wife. You want to be a prison wife?"
Yeah.
He was like, You want to cook all day Sunday and go see him in the joint on?" He goes, "No." He goes, "That's not what you want." So I said, "No, Joe." I said, "I'm just sitting here thinking." I go, I said, "I was over by a friend's house tonight." I go, and it turns out, I said, that they got a dog that's blind. I go, "I didn't know dogs could be blind." And Joe looks at me real serious and he goes, "Well, yeah, they can." I says, "Yeah." I says, "So it got me thinking. I wonder how many dogs need glasses, but we'll never know." He busted out laughing. He went home, he was hysterical. He was like, because he used to sometimes he'd call me Lucy.
Lucy.
Because,
I was going to
yeah,
ask you what your nickname was. I know you had a couple of nicknames.
yeah. With some guys, it was Hot Mary.
Nice.
With people in my family, it was Lazy Mary.
Mary, how old are you in this photo right here?
I'm 16.
16 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh,
That's what I looked like when I met Frank.
Yeah, I like your backdrop. Can you show it? Show us your backdrop.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Can you see? That's Bugsy.
Yeah. Who are those guys now?
And that's Muggsy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my crew. It's my skeleton crew.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're two stand-up guys when they're not sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I like about them most? They don't talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mary, this is just the beginning for you and I. You and I, if you want, we'll continue to get together every now and then and share some stories. But this is just a prelude, guys, to her book. There's all kinds of other stories that we don't want to share with you right now that you could read about in the book. Obviously, there's certain people we don't really want to talk about right now. But
right.
Mary, do you want to read some of the comments, or should we do that later?
You can do it now if you want.
Let me read them. See what we got here. Here's one you'll like, Mary.
What does it say? I ain't got my glasses on, Jimmy.
It says rat when met. Not red, rat when met.
Well, I like to call him Pinky. Because him and his other buddy, Pinky and the Brain,
Yeah.
They're tunes. They're tunes. That's all they are, is tunes.
Mary, did you find Nick Calabrese credible at all? Do you believe anything?
No.
Nothing.
No. I think he did a lot of lying to save his own ass.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he had to do time anyway.
He did. He did some time. But in the end, you got to deal with the big guy upstairs, right?
What, the big guy upstairs?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Meaning the man upstairs, you got to pay for your sins, right? That's one thing I learned, Mary, about all the trials I went to. None of these guys show any remorse. Zero remorse.
Well,
What do you think?
I don't know what to say about that. It's very, very Machiavellian, because Machiavelli, he always said that it's better to be feared than to be loved. And a lot of people believe that. They really believe that.
Yeah.
So, and it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
So if they never showed any remorse, it's because they didn't have any.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. I always find it funny that people want other people to regret what they did. And they get very upset when the people don't regret it. And the reason that, you know, the reason is some people, see, I guess even people like me, I've done some bad things, and I could sit here and say, well, I regret everything. I'd be lying to you. So maybe I'm no different than the guys that they, you know, threw in jail. But I don't regret anything that I did.
Let me ask you this, Mary. What advice would you give young kids nowadays in 2025 as far as like advice on what to do with their life, what kind of career to pursue, what kind of job to go after? What advice would you give to some young people, if any? Would you say learn a trade?
No, yeah, well, yeah, absolutely learn a trade, because I swear, when I was younger, I wanted to be a plumber. There was a guy in my neighborhood called Tony Minotti, and he had his shop on Great and Western. He was a great plumber. Anyway, I wanted to be like him, but at the time, you know, girls couldn't be plumbers. Which reminds me of a funny story, because this last week, you know, I changed the sink out in my bathroom. I had a big sink, I took it out, and I asked a plumbing company to come in. And I had the other sink ready just to be hooked up and everything, and they were like $2,500.
Whoa, whoa.
I paid for a service call, I gave them the $60, told them to have a nice day, and I hooked up the sink myself.
What was it, just a P-trap? Or a little bit more than that?
No, it was a P-trap. It was a P-trap. I had to put it in, I had to hook it up, I had to hook up the faucets on top, I had to bring in the plumbing tape, I had to put the drain in with the plumber's putty.
Yeah, you got to seal
You
it.
know? And that's the things that those guys teach you in the neighborhood. See, so as far as what would I tell kids today? I would tell them to stop listening to all the politics. Stop thinking that one side is better than the other side. Both sides are crooks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? They're both sides are crooks. You know, you can't tell me, look, I'm very good in math, and all I know is that if I was making $250,000 a year, and I had to live in two different places, the place that I came from, Illinois, and Washington, D.C., and then you're going to tell me 20 years later I'm worth $250 million? How the hell did that happen?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
Let me ask you this. I know how you feel about Chicago, but is there anything you miss about Chicago? Anything at all?
I miss everything about Chicago.
You do?
It breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss everything about Chicago. It breaks my heart that I can't afford to live in the city that I was born and raised in. And you can't, you know what? There you go. Can't blame that on the Republicans.
Yeah, all our Democratic cities have gone to hell, not just Chicago.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Seattle, Miami, New York. Is there hope, though, Mary? Is there hope to turn things around, or no?
Jimmy, I'm telling you right now, I got this great idea. Let's take a road trip through every blue city, and let's do what they do. Let's go into Macy's and let's just wipe them out.
Okay.
I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to pinch us. We'll be out by dinner time.
Yeah. Yeah. Great time to be a thug right now.
It is. It is. It's a shame. And yet they got my guys rotting in jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's not fair.
We're going to do a follow-up story. There's other things Mary and I are working on, and we're definitely going to do a follow-up story. Mary's got all kinds of other stories she's going to share with us. Mary, I want to thanks again for coming on.
Wait. Before you go.
Yeah.
Any negative comments? Give me some of the negative comments.
Oh, let's see if there's any. I don't think, or there might.
Well, there's got to be some. I feed off of negativity. I feed off of it.
Can you read this?
No, what does it say?
Oh, here's one. He's saying, bro, 5 minutes in, and I'm already thinking you guys should do a podcast together. We're going to. This is my very first slide. We're still trying to figure this out. Mary, how about this one here? This would be an interesting one. You got any Frankie Schweiss stories?
No, I don't. But I did meet Mad Sam once at the Admiral.
Wait a minute. You met Mad Sam DeStefano at the Admiral Theater?
Yeah, I was going in. He was coming out.
Unbelievable. You recognized him?
Oh, yeah.
You know that
I recognized him because they had him on TV. He was being interviewed. Okay? And somebody asked him something about his brother. And he went batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Remember that? So that's how I know him, because I was going in because one of the guys who ran the projectors up on the second floor, of course, I sold him weed. So, I mean, that was the only reason I was in the air, bro. I wasn't there, I wasn't there to be on stage. I wasn't one of the fluffers, nothing like that,
Mary, if you don't mind, just ballpark, how many customers did you have back in the day? Ballpark. 50? 75?
You mean weed customers? Oh, my God.
Hundreds?
Yeah, hundreds.
Wow. Mary, what do you think of this comment? Mary, back in the day, did you ever pop in PS Chicago? I think I may have met you.
Yes.
PS Chicago.
PS Chicago, I used to call it the Rush Street Triangle. I would go from PS Chicago on the corner, down the block to Mother's, across the street to Poets,
Yep.
And then back to PS Chicago.
Yeah. There was always fights. Every weekend there was fights.
Wait, who's the guy who thinks he met me?
Wait,
Please don't tell me you're the guy that I left high and dry at the Holiday Inn.
Again, you guys are going to hear more of these stories in the book. What about this one? Here's a guy called Wooster. Hey, guys from Wooster, Ohio. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a suburb of Ohio. Okay.
Who?
I don't know what that is. You know, this neighborhood, Edison Park, you got a lot of city workers, a lot of cops, a lot of firemen that live in this neighborhood. Mary, I wanted to ask you, how bad was the gang violence in the Grand Avenue neighborhood back in the day? How bad was that, say, in the 80s, 90s?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. It was as bad as it is now. The only difference is the players are different. Back then it was white guys beating the shit out of each other, shooting each other. You know, now don't get me wrong. Some of it was my fault because I instigated some shit between the C-Notes and the Shy West. But that's another story, okay? Yeah. Now you got the Hispanic guys and the African American guys. Nothing's changed except the makeup. You know, it's like I try to tell people, it's always the same shit. The players just change, you know?
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been 45 minutes. I appreciate your time. You and I are going to continue to keep in touch. And maybe one day we can meet in person and do something together.
Oh, absolutely. I thought you were going to come paint my ceilings in my garage.
Yeah, send me some pictures.
I'll send you some pictures. You send me an estimate, and we'll get this going. But
Got it.
anytime, Jimmy, anything that you're wondering about, if I know about it, I'll tell you
Very good. Ciao.
within reason.
Thank you. Good night, hon.
Take care.
Bye bye.